Hello and welcome to another Warcraft League commentary. Today we're going to be watching Spiral, spawning as the Red Orc, versus Passion, spawning as the Green Undead. Of course, they're both on the bottom of the map. And I got a quick little announcement to talk about before we get too far into this game. But essentially, you may have noticed the past day or so I haven't really had any content, I think 2 days. Essentially what's going on is my computer is overheating and I just need to dust it out. And I don't have the can of air that I need to dust it out. And unfortunately, I've tried all the local shops that are like within walking distance because I don't have a car. And they don't have anything that would act as a can of air or any cans of air. So hopefully sometime tonight I will be able to get to Walmart, which is several more miles away from everything. Then at that point I will be able to get a can of air and hopefully have that worked out for tomorrow for Zotac. But as it is, I'm not sure I'm even going to be able to make it through this recording. Hopefully I will, because I took my computer apart, and I say my computer was actually my laptop. I took it apart and I dusted out the fan as best as I could by hand using like a little sock. So not the most effective of things, but that's what happened. And I also had backup footage which I accidentally deleted a couple of days prior to all of this, and I didn't realize that until I had already recorded over the hard drive, so that there was no way for me to recover it. So that was unfortunate. So just those two little things ended up happening, and that's why there's been a little bit of a lack of content. Hopefully that won't happen again. I should have things sorted out. Now, this is a game from the Fit4Gaming Team League, F4GTL, and this is Fs.Passion, of course, spawning as the Green Undead on the bottom right, just to go over that one more time, and that's going to be against his teammate Fs.Spiral, spawning as the Red Orc on the bottom left, going with a Blade Master first, going the Blade Master Grand Opening in a late shop. I think he's probably going to do it like maybe something over here, creep one of these trolls. However, given that he just saw the scout coming into his base, he very well decide not to creep this, because there is a Death Knight that's going to be on its way to harass, and it does have a dust of appearance, and that's something that he'll have to expect. And what that means is if he's sitting here creeping out this troll, he's going to take a lot of damage, and that Death Knight can get there in time to go ahead and potentially kill the Blade Master while he creeps that out. So it looks like, yeah, he's not even going to go for it. It's definitely a dangerous thing to do right there. And here we do have that one of his grunts running on the map, chasing the Death Knight, going to try to make sure he knows exactly where that Death Knight is at all times. And of course, Passion did scout that. Usually if you don't see him creeping that one, you expect that he's over here creeping this one. He can buy a circlet from here and get 2 circlets, which is definitely a very nice thing to have. But looks like he's not going to go all the way over there. I don't know exactly why he decided not to do that, but that's generally what I would have expected, is because I've seen that happen very often, where if they're not creeping one shop, they'll go to the other shop. But at any rate, we're going to see that he is going to go ahead and decide to chase this grunt down, which is not a bad idea, because 1 versus 1, the grunt will lose very horribly to the Death Knight. As you can see, really there isn't a lot of a chance for that grunt to do anything. With 2 grunts, it's a little bit more acceptable for the Orc to take that fight, but still, you're really not going to be able to kill the Death Knight or really do too much. Here we can see that the Blade Master has gone ahead and not crept anything out. As you can see, he's still at 0, but he's going to go ahead and start this creep right here, and he's only going to probably pick off these 2 Null Wardens. You don't really want to try to kill that Null Overseer. It would take quite some time. You probably wouldn't be able to finish it off, and unfortunately, especially because he does not have any regeneration items, that would be just unfeasible at this point. So he's going to have to kill this and then go back to his base to return to the shop, to the Voodoo Lounge. Over here we can see he's actually creeping this little green out, or attempting to creep this green out with the use of those 2 grunts. However, it looks like that Death Knight is perfectly going to be able to jack them and, of course, do some damage. Now, if this grunt drops below 200 HP, it's going to be pretty much dead, because the Death Knight does have enough mana for 2 coils. And 2 coils is all it would take to kill any grunt that's at 200 HP or lower. So there's that issue. Now, another thing I didn't talk about, this is game 2. This is a best of 3. I can't load game 1. I've tried and tried. Unfortunately, the map file doesn't want to work. W3G.replays.net is where I got this series from. I might at some point be able to find the map file somewhere else, but the map file that's at the replays.net, because you can always download the maps from replays.net for any replay, but that map doesn't work. And I have like 4 different Amazonias, and I've tried all of them in this game path, and none of them work, so that's unfortunate. I've been having a lot of issues actually here over the past probably weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks or so, of just finding these maps where I download the map like from the people who are saying like this is the exact same map, and that was in that game, you know, people who like from the actual host of the game or whatever. I've gone to their games, I've downloaded the map, and replays that they had other replays didn't work. So I'm not really sure exactly what's going on with it. I don't know. Obviously everybody knows that maps are really a major concern of pain, really, just a big pain in the ass for people who like to watch replays. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I've never had this much trouble. Hopefully it's just something weird with this patch, and hopefully we'll get a patch tomorrow that'll fix it all. That's not gonna happen, but so hopefully it's not something with this patch, but we'll see. Here we can see that this is a very close, almost got a surround off on that fiend right there with his speed scrolled grunts. Very, very close to getting a surround off on that. And I'm gonna go back to talking about the game. So this is of course game 2. Just wanted to recap on that, and of course we're gonna see these grunts are gonna run away from this blade master, or I'm sorry, from this little army right here that we do have. The orc could win this fight, however, it looks like he doesn't want to take it. And that's not a bad idea either, because all he has to do here is just keep this Death Knight contained, keep the fiends down, just keep this army from being too strong, because essentially, as you can see, we're at tier 2 at this point. And that Blade Master's at level 2, and the Death Knight's only at level 1 with only 20 experience. That's a pretty big deal for the undead, for the orc. And you can see he's going to go ahead and get this Shadow Hunter out, and essentially what he can do is go ahead and take some experience with this right here, get that creep camp, that'll give him an item, and on top of that, when his Shadow Hunter comes out, then he can actually, if he's been keeping this down, this army very weak with his Blade Master, then he can just take total map control, and there will be very little that Passion can do about it. Now here you can see that the Lich is out. Of course you can see that he casts Frost Armor on that Death Knight to help keep it alive against this Blade Master harass, which is pretty painful. And we can see he's taking a lot of damage. He is dusted, so he can't just Windwalk away. He only has one Windwalk anyway at this point, so if he uses it to break onto this Death Knight again, he may very well end up getting surrounded and die. Considering that, he's going to go ahead and run away. Not a bad choice. He does go ahead and stop, and the reason he stopped right there is to let those Crypt Fiends catch up, because their Crypt Fiend attack is very slow, and so sometimes it'll go invisible, and you'll cast your Healing Salve, and then it'll hit you right after that, even though you can't see it. So that's why it's a good idea to stop and wait a second. Really good players, of course, can generally time it perfectly and not have to worry too much about it, but it's never a bad idea to just give that a good consideration, an extra second or so. But over here we can see the Lich's Hex did get a Frost Shield off on himself first, so he's not a huge issue. Here you can see that it looks like one of these fiends has been surrounded. However, it's going to be surrounded partially by its skeleton war, and looks like it's going to go ahead and actually get out of here. We can see the Blade Master taking a lot of focus fire damage right there, and because of that, it was able to force the orc to give up that surround. Essentially, I'm not sure he really should have given up this round, because I think he could have just moved his Blade Master away and kept this round, but he did go ahead and kind of break his army a little bit, his army position up a little bit there. And here you can see that there's a Healing Salve back on that Blade Master to keep him back up to full life if he can get him there, and then he can come back into this fight. And that's going to be good. We do see, of course, Passion is using his ghouls, and he's going to go ahead, and he's almost a tier 3 at this point. And if we look over here real quickly, we can see it looks like we're going to be just seeing a Bestiary and Spirit Lodge orc, which is pretty standard at tier 2. Sometimes you'll see orcs rush for tier 3 to get the Lightning Orb. Not going to see that in this game. We do see Spirit Link, however, is being used, and that Death Knight is taking a Hex. It is Frost Armored, but it's taking a Hex. It's taking a lot of damage. He's trying to get surround on him. He's going to be forced to TP. It looks like, yes, indeed, he's going to be TPing out of this fight. He's going to be focusing down a Grunt over here. However, he's not going to be able to kill that Grunt as it runs away very easily. And so that's the kind of map control that an orc can take when they've done a good job, especially on a map like this when they're so close to you at all points, and they have so many creeps that are so easy for their grunts to creep, and it's really a streamlined process for them to go ahead and creep and contain you at the same time. And that's a really big deal that you have to really work around. Here you can see it looks like the Death Knight has picked up 2 potions of healing and used one, and now he's got that second one right there. That is 300 gold and potions of healing. Not an ideal amount of money to spend when you're doing this, but it is something that you do have to consider every now and then, that you're going to have to buy that, especially if you have a really hard contain that we did see in this game. And losing your teleport scroll as well, that's not something you really want to see happen either, because that's just going to hurt you. That's 350 gold, and it really sets you back on your security, because the teleport scroll, of course, it is essentially just that. It's like this is a security. Hopefully, in an ideal game, you probably wouldn't need to use your TP scroll, at least not as an emergency to get your hero out of a fight that you otherwise might be able to win. I'm not, because I wanted to say, like, ideally you would never use your TP scroll in an ideal game, but that's probably not true. And probably in an ideal game you would have like a strategy that says, hey, at this point I TP, and then from here on out I don't do anything where I need to TP, so I don't have to buy another one, and then I have another item inventory slot and blah blah blah. So whatever. But I just mean, obviously it's just a security item really. It's like if something goes, it's your oh shit button, like, oh shit, my hero's about to die, TP, or oh shit, my base is about to die, TP. So it's an oh shit button. It's really nice to have that, and it's 350 gold, and you really should have it, because especially in this matchup where Orc can punish undeads for mistakes so very heavily, it's just something really nice to have. You can see that this Blade Master is going to be running in here. He's level 3. And he does have a Wand of Mana Stealing. And he also has the Mantle of Intelligence, so he's up to 375 mana right now. Between that and the Circle, that is plus 5 Intelligence, which is, of course, 15 mana each, and that is going to be like, what, 75 mana? I think that's an entire Windwalk. I think it would be 300 mana otherwise. If I did my math right, 5 times 15? Right? 5, that's 30, 60, 75, yes. Okay. I'm not very good at math in my head, so if I got that wrong, please don't kill me. But here we do see there's the Death Knight picking up that Town Portal. Didn't really want to stray too far out away from his base. So as you can see, the Blight's really right there, and he pulled back to back here when he was fighting that for the most part. So it's pretty much a safe way to creep that when you don't have a teleport scroll. But even that, you know, if the Orc had decided to attack him right there, it could have been really bad for him. But instead, we were seeing that the Orc is going to be creeping out. At this point, I would be surprised to see that the Undead doesn't do something maybe a little bit risky. In all honesty, I think he might want to scout first, of course, and that's why we do have these scouts going. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him take this red cramp. He is behind, and it's not really a hard camp to creep. It's a little bit risky just because, as you can see, it's going to be a lot of bloodlust and there's some healing, so it takes a little bit longer than it'll take him to creep out this. But honestly, with this many fiends and your third hero, you're not in that bad of a deal, which I didn't know he had a third hero, but he does have a third hero, which is the Crippler. Not a bad choice, a very nice item to have. He just go ahead and get up a Belt of Strength, is very nice, and he does go ahead and actually get a stun and a dust off on this Blade Master. He's going to be able to force a Coil Nova and do a lot of damage to it, as you can see. Really bringing it down quite a bit of life, of course. Now, in this situation, that's actually been scouted, definitely not something to go for that red. However, he might decide to go for that red. Or at least run up there and make the Orc think he's going for the red. Who knows? But we do see, actually, it looks like the Orc has hit tier 3. Must have happened at some point. We see a very nice dodge of an ensnare with that destroy right there, which is very important. The Lich is taking a lot of damage. Hex is gonna get the thing, the spell from the lightning orb. I was trying to say the destroyers eat magic or observe magic. That didn't happen, though. We do see something else happen here. We see he's going to pass something over here. No, he's not going to get anything off onto that Lich. The Lich goes down, unfortunately, for the Undead. We do have this statue being ensnared. This fight is going pretty well for the Orc. However, the Undead is trying to do his best, dodging some of these Kodo Beasts. However, the statue will go down. These Orc units are speed scrolled. We can see that Kodo Beast just being on crack really right there, just going chomping at that fiend, but just not quite getting it. And then, of course, the Kodo Beast does go down. Now, this will probably give the Orc this creeper camp right here. And if he creeps out this red, and then he comes over here and creeps out this red, that's going to be really unfortunate for the Undead, especially if he gets an Amulet of Spell Shield or a Staff of Silence or two of either. Either of those two items or two of either of those items would be really nice to have against an Undead army. We do see it's going to be a Khadgar's Gem of Health, 300 HP. That's pretty good too. It's not nearly as good, but at 300 HP, it's a little bit better than an Amulet of Spell Protection at certain points in the game. I would say maybe gets worse later on. Who knows? I guess it just depends on how you look at it. You have to deal with. There's a lot of factors there. It's like on one hand, like 300 HP is probably more than what you're going to block in a single nuke. I think it is absolutely more, but you know, and it works with physical damage, so like auto attacks and stuff is nicer that way. But you also have to consider that you have to regenerate that health, versus you don't have to regenerate health that was just damage that was never done to you. So which one's better? Honestly, I don't know. I know Khadgar's is a very good item. If you get a Khadgar's Gem of Health, definitely a really good item to have. But an Amulet of Spell Protection is also pretty nice to have as well. It blocks one spell every 45 seconds, I believe. So, I mean, if you get coiled every 45 seconds, I mean, but you're never going to have that kind of efficiency with it either way. So, it's one of those things where it's just decisions and decisions. But we do see this Lich is back out. You have this Blade Master coming down here to find him with actually 2 claws now and a Boots of Agility, or Boots of Quel'Tha Laws, which is +6 agility, which is essentially a claws but a little bit better, because it does provide 6 damage, but also provides, it's doing it through the agility, as you can see, so you get, I believe 2 armor from that, yeah, 2 armor from that and some attack speed, so this is actually a little bit better, or really, I guess, quite a bit better than a Claws of Attack, if you really want to think about it, but we do see some harass going on over here with these skeletons coming in here and just doing some damage to the peons right here. Maybe some of that damage is done to that burrow from that. Either way, we can see a red creep being done over here by the Undead. This is a really good thing to do, because you can get Potions of Divinity from here. And a Potion of Divinity, if you don't know, it's a 25-second invulnerability potion. That's a pretty big deal. That's amazing. It also looks like he's going to go ahead and throw him an expansion. That's also really good. This is a lot easier to defend this expansion than any of the island, the non-island expansions. Let's see, what items do we see? We rock a Stone Token, which is a Rock Golem, and I believe it was probably the Sentry Wards, yeah. So those are 2 really, really nice items from this creep. really nice actually, because when you get sentry wards, they last for 5 minutes, and they reveal invisible units, and so you can have one in really strategic locations. Where would you put one? Well, if you wanted to defend this expansion, you could put one, you know, right about here, so you could see if anybody buys a Zeppelin here, or any army moves in this range and goes down that way. Alternatively, you could have one somewhere maybe in the orc space, and then, you know, maybe over here. There's lots of places you could put it. It just depends on what your goal would be for what you were trying to do with your sentry ward. Don't place your sentry wards willy-nilly, because you want to have an idea now about what you want to do, and then you can just do it. But here we can see there's going to be another acolyte going over here. It looks like he might be double expanding. That's unusual. That is unusual, but that's kind of smart because it's unusual. Anything that's unusual is generally fairly smart because it's harder to scout. It's harder to figure out. The islands are pretty off limits. Now, the one thing is that he's going to have 2 island items, technically 4 island items, because you get 2 island items for each one of these items, and that's essentially what we're going to be seeing. Now, it looks like the orc does go ahead and reveal that. Thank you, Observer Pinging, because I wouldn't have seen that otherwise. But so the orc does know about this expansion. However, he does not know about this expansion. And that could be the advantage that Passion needs, because if the orc is willing to give everything he has to try to take down this expansion, down at the very bottom, then Passion could end up having a free expansion up here that's never scouted or known about. But he probably will at some point scout this if he's not off his Crocker, because he's going to be able to see, as you can see, a Wand of Illusion and a Red Drake egg. So he's going to know that these are clearly items that you're going to get from these islands, you know, the Stone Token and the Red Drake. That means you've crept at least 2 of the islands, but again, you know, he might not scout this, because what undead expands twice? What undead would expand twice? Who knows? But they are teammates, so I'm sure they practice together. Either way, we can see the orc is ready to do a little attack here, and I say a little attack. That's a fairly large attack, you know, fairly large, but it looks like we're gonna have to see this undead TP back into his base. He's gonna creep this out as fast as he can. He is 3/3/3, and the orc is 4 and 5 on the Shadow Hunter. He has a Staff of Silence, a pretty very nice item, but that is of course defeatable by the use of a destroyer, because it can of course eat the things. And we can see this is going to be one of the destroyers going up. The shop has gone down, as well as it looks like that altar might go down. We see a lot of focus fire going down onto this raider right here, getting a healing wave just in good timing. I believe that might be a level 3 healing wave, because that was a lot of healing going off onto that thing. It looks like that raider is going to go down anyway, but so does the altar of the heroes. And we can see some really nice positioning by this here undead, really being smart and using Impel really effectively. We do see 2 spirit towers. Of course, you can do that. Now he does throw down a sentry ward. In this case, you may say, why does he have it in here? It's simply because he can reveal the Blade Master when he goes invisible. Now we do have, of course, the Cryptloid going down, but not before he summons that Red Drake. Now we can go ahead and see that that'll be a very nice, useful unit, and this sprite does a fair amount of damage to these different units. And here we can see that there is also a Stone Golem, or the Rock Golem out, and that's going to have a tossed stone, and essentially that's just what you see the creeps do, where it stuns a hero, or a unit, or whatever that he hits. And he's actually going to use that. I don't know if he had, no, he didn't use it. I'm not sure why he didn't go ahead and just toss that out onto the Blade Master. Maybe he was waiting, but it doesn't have a very long cooldown. You see a lot of damage going on to this Death Knight right now. It does use a Death Pack to go ahead and eat one of those fiends. We do have something else going back here. We have some Banshees. Do we have a curse on that Blade Master yet? No, we don't. I'm not sure why. It looks like there's not enough mana for the curse. This is a very low HP Blade Master. He's going to need to get a Death Pact. Oh, as he goes for the Death Pact, he goes to go ahead and lose his hero. This Orc army is doing pretty well in this fight. It looks like it's going to be really difficult for Passion to come out of this fight alive. He might very well lose the game right here. Despite those 2 expansions, we'll have to wait and see. Now, he does have these really nice towers up, a Nerubian Tower, a Spirit Tower, and all this. And he does have, of course, these 2 Sentry Wards. You place both of them down just to have the maximum amount of coverage that he could get. Really, that's not the maximum amount of coverage at all, but it's plenty. It shows pretty much all of his base. He might very well be able to take down this Blade Master right here. If he does that, that would be really good for him. It's really low. It's really close. Is he going to be able to get it? I don't know. The pingers, they're spamming pings right now. They're like, oh my god, all these heroes could die. It looks like the Blade Master might go down at 5 HP. Gets down to 4 HP, and we can see now it looks like the Shadow Hunter is now running away at very low HP as well. If this Blade Master and the Shadow Hunter get away, that's not going to be good for the undead at all. But it looks like that Coda Beast is going to say, gold, I'm going to eat it. And so he goes for the eat. And he eats it. Look, so many low HP units right here from this work. Yeah, they have 33 HP, 100 HP, 6 HP, 181 HP, 217 HP. I feel like Passion really has to go for this, because if he can take those out, then that would be perfect. One Nova, if they're all clumped up, you know, for example. He doesn't have enough mana for the Nova, and I think he doesn't have the Dark Ritual either, unfortunately. But here we do see Spiral is throwing up his expansion over here, and he is about to run out of gold at his main gold mine. However, he does have enough gold to continue rebuilding his army. But we do see, of course, Passion over here getting both of these saturated gold mines, so that's going to be interesting for him here. He needs one more here, but he might just be waiting to pass one from over here and then only maybe turn 4 of those into Dark Ritual food or something like, or I'm sorry, like Death Pact food or something else, like little miniature HP potions running around. Could be lots of different ways to do this. A really nice hold off by the Passion. I was expecting him to lose at that point. He really just held on barely, but did really good with that pushback. It's just really good. Here you can see that these are the units going ahead and buying the Zeppelin. So we might see this coming, that second expansion coming into play really well right here. You can see this is Passion Zeppelin actually getting ensnared and picked off. And let's see. He's going to go ahead and get into his loaded up Zeppelin. Now, it would be nice to see some kind of a fight from Passion at this point to deal with this, but it looks like he's just going to have to end up unsummoning this stuff. It was worth buying, as you can see. This started at 10,000 gold, and he's got 1.8k gold from it. You know, it cost 255 gold for the Haunted Gold Mine, 75 for each one of these acolytes, and, you know, I think 250 gold for the Necropolis. You get 50% of that back, so essentially you're just paying for the gold mine and the 4 acolytes. So that's not terribly bad. And you won't get quite 50% back because, of course, these guys are attacking these things. But it's not too bad. I think he did make his money back. He made some additional money's worth. And the big thing here, is that he has distracted his opponent. He distracted him. His opponent does not know he has this up here. He has not scouted this. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Kodo Beast, of course, takes up 2 slots. You can see it looks like we're seeing some spamming going on from just spamming the reveals right there just to make sure he has a full vision of the base. And I don't know if he spammed up here. It looks like he does go ahead and spam up here. And so now we're going to have to see some kind of a defense going on right there. We do have, of course, the Death Knight is out. Is the shop back up? Yes, the shop is back up, so that we'd see a TP on the Lich. And the Crypt Lord is beginning to be made, but you don't have to worry too much about this because the Crypt Lord won't be out for a little bit, but that's not a huge deal because in this fight that's going to be taken up here, what you're going to be concerned with is this isn't a very large army. It's, you know, it's a Spirit Walker, the Shadow Hunter, 1 Troll Berserker, 2 Raiders, a Kodo Beast, and a Blade Master. That's not a huge army. We do have the Blade Master actually being what's going to come in here, and that's going to be annoying because he's just going to be able to kill these acolytes. So it's smart not to really put your whole army in here. If there is a TP, what he can do is he can just wind walk back over here to his Zeppelin and do whatever the hell he wants, basically. Just run away and then get out of the fight. And so, yeah, we can see it looks like, unfortunately for Passion, he's going to be forced to unsummon the gold mine. There's really no way he can actually protect that, so Spiral did a really good job by scouting that and then actually taking it out. Now you can see Passion not one to give up. He's going to go ahead and start this. However, unfortunately for him, it looks like Spiral will go ahead and just be scouting here because why not, right? That's unfortunate, but so there goes that. He does go ahead and pick up an Intelligence Tome that was left behind for his Shadow Hunter, which is good. He needs mana, but he does have some nice mana items. A Potion of Mana, which gives you 150 mana, as well as the Mantle of Intelligence, which gives you 3 Intelligence, which is a decent amount of mana. Now we can see this is pretty funny. 4 of these acolytes running right by, just out of the vision of the Spiral. So that's good, I get, for the undead. I mean, he's not in a great position. He's really gonna have to win this fight. With this upcoming fight, whatever it's gonna be, wherever it goes, he has to win that fight. Because his opponent has an expansion up and running at this point, and he does not. He's working on it, of course. But if he wins the fight, he can keep this alive, and he can take out the opponent expansion. And if he scouts this one later, then he probably will, if he wins the fight, scout this expansion. So we'll see if he can manage to pull this off. It's going to be difficult, but he does have a pretty nice army at this point. Several Fiends, 5 Fiends, lots of these little Master Banshees. Master Banshees. Well, in that case, he might very well just easily win this fight because he's going to be able to just mass possess. And without a Tauren Chieftain to stop you, you're going to be doing pretty fine, and especially when you have this. So let's see, watch these curses. Are we going to see some possessions maybe going on? Yes, we're going to see the possessions going on in the back of this fight. Normally, I'd like to see possessions going on to Kodo Beasts as well as Raiders, but I guess you can take whatever you want. Spirit Walkers are really good to have. If you get Spirit Link on your Undead army, that's really nice. Well, we can see the Orc army here is actually getting pretty much destroyed. We see a lot of focus fire going on to this Lich. Is the Lich going to be able to get a coil? No, the Lich is not going to coil. The Death Knight was unfortunately hexed. That's not good. We do see a level 6 Shadow Hunter. Now, unfortunately, I'm not sure who's going to win this fight. It looks very much like it's going in the Orc favor with this very strong Blade Master. And really, those Banshees, unfortunately, not getting the greatest position running in here. But we do see that Passion does have a Kodo Beast, so I guess actually no, he's doing fine. You know, really, I said he wasn't, but he's doing fine. He's doing no problem here because he's kept most of his army alive. I guess I just I don't know. But that Kodo Beast does go ahead and go down. Unfortunately, we do have a Raider out from Spiral. Getting out of that, but he's just going to die as well because he didn't get microed away. And so there's that. And now the Orc army is essentially just 2 heroes and 2 Raiders. And of course, he does have plenty of gold coming in to keep making more units. So that's not going to be a huge issue. But if he loses all of his burrows, you know, over here, and then maybe loses production buildings, and then, you know, starts to lose his expansions, he could be in a pretty big serious spot here. So this is going to be really all on how Passion plays this at this point. Because Spiral is at the advantage, but as far as economy goes, but we clearly see that Passion has the army advantage here. We do see a really nice Dust revealing that Blade Master as he walks in, taking some extra focus fire. It would be really nice if his Lich was still alive. If his Lich was still alive, he'd definitely win. We do see that beautiful Blade Master ultimate coming in here, the Blade Storm, spinning around, doing a ton of damage. It's huge AoE, and we do see, of course, it looks like one of these Fiends actually getting very nice. It's really hard to fight this without Frost Armor right now. It looks like that Shadow Hunter taking a ton of damage, going to be forced to TP out at 179 HP. Here you can see it looks like, honestly, the Orc is doing pretty good to hold his own right here. But getting coiled on the Shadow Hunter, but he goes ahead and healing waves at the same time, so not really any big concern for him. A really nice coil going off on this Ensnared Abomination. Again, it hurts to watch this without Frost Armor. It really does. If there was Frost Armor in this fight, the Orc would be really screwed right here. But I don't know how much longer until the Lich comes out. It's going to be a while, unfortunately, for this Undead. He doesn't have a while. He has to take this fight regardless. He can't just let this Orc's army get big again. If it does happen like that, he's going to be losing the game, no doubt. And here we see is going to go ahead and TP out. Now, he does happen to have this expansion up running fully. However, the Orc has this expansion, which isn't a great position for the expansion. It's kind of far away, as you can see. I'm not sure why I put it that far away, but as you can see, this one's much closer. But that one's running full time. This one's running at 1. So, and this is going to be going back up as well. So that's not terrible. If this doesn't get scouted, if this does not get scouted, if the Orc army comes straight over here and then comes back up here, and then he'll be fine. It looks like he does go ahead and reveal this. And so he's going to be able to do that. Now the question is, will he scout this as well? He might just move his army right here, and then that'll be really bad for the Undead. Of course, that looks like it's going to happen just that way, unfortunately. Mr. Undead runs 2 of these Acolytes away just to try to get away from this fight and try to keep them alive. And keeping the other ones over here mining. He knows they're going to go down, but mine as long as you can and get the Unsummon off. And then run like hell. So that's going to allow him to cancel this. He knows this is going to go down. So I'm not sure what he's doing up here not canceling it. He's probably just waiting to see what will happen. And let's see, is the cancel going to happen? Cancel the Acolyte, cancel the Gold Mine. That's what he needs to do. Cancels the Acolyte. He doesn't have to cancel the Gold Mine just yet, I don't guess. That's fair enough, right? Yeah.
Town is under siege.
He's just getting into position with his army down here. And we should see the Lich out. Yes, the Lich is out. The Undead army at this point, pretty unfortunate. It's not really looking too strong. Especially compared to what it was. This is going to be unfortunate for the Undead, I feel like. I don't know. He could win the fights. He does have decent hero levels, 444 versus, you know, I believe 6'5" at this point. But that Blade Master really hurts. However, that Blade Master is not in this fight. So it looks like it's 6'6", and it's going to be forcing Spiral to TP out. Can we see some damage going on? It looks like we might be able to see this expansion die, and that would be really good for Passion. But if he kills this one, and then he kills this one over here, he wouldn't be in that bad of a position, really. So we might see it come back yet. We might just see it. You can see a tome being picked up by that Crypt Lord right there. And here we do see these are the peons, and this is the Orc army. It's a pretty nice army. It's going to be really difficult to deal with this, and of course with this, really, more than anything, this guy is going to do a lot of damage. He's got a Khadgar's Gem of Health. He's going to be able to take a lot of damage as well as dish it, so it's going to be really difficult to see the Undead winning this. But he does go ahead and stop the economy a little bit of Spiral, so if he goes straight over here, then you might even be able to really put the nail in the coffin. Picking this item up would be great. Just absolutely awesome to get that on his Lich. Would be really nice, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now there's a peon right there. We might see him try to go ahead and creep this out. That would be interesting. It wouldn't be a bad move to get some more items, some more experience, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just gonna it's getting a little bit close here. These armies are about to clash, and this could be the last fight we see. If the Undead wins this fight, then he's pretty much gonna win, I think. And I think if the Orc wins this fight, he's pretty much going to win, you know? Because if the Undead can kill the Orc's army and then he can kill these and keep his heroes alive, I think he'll be able to finish off just the Orc heroes, no problem. Here we can see a lot of damage going off immediately onto that Blade Master. He does have a potion of invulnerability, or lesser invulnerability. He goes ahead and picks off a statue. The Orc army is in a pretty good position here, focusing down on this Death Knight, seeing a really nice army-wide stun right there, stunning beautifully by that Crypt Lord. Still just right-clicking on that Death Knight. There's really, literally it looks like the entire army was right-clicked on the Death Knight. Switching over to the Lich now, getting a really nice coil, getting another really nice stun off from that Crypt Lord. The Lich unfortunately does go down. It's going to make it really difficult for the Undead to actually come back in this fight. Here we can see that Crypt Lord again, taking a ton of damage right here as well, doing another really nice stun, but without that Lich and that Frost Arm, it's going to be really hard. And it looks like Passion calls GG. And so that was a 30-minute game. It was pretty good. It had some tense moments, but I will go ahead and say that I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and that was a longer cast than I'm used to, so my voice is a little bit. It's not my voice isn't not my voice. I shouldn't say my mouth is getting a little bit dry. I wasn't able to drink as much water as I wanted to during that game, but I'm going to have me a couple sips of water, and then I'm going to get into game 3, which you'll be able to click right about here. It'll be right here. So I'm doing this differently now. I'm going to go ahead and start doing these annotations to the next game at the end of the video on the score screen, and I think that's a better idea because I feel like it's spoiling. It's a spoiler otherwise, you know. So and I don't want to spoil things, and so that's what I'll be doing from here on out. If there's a big enough demand for it, I'll go back and redo all the other annotations. But that would take a lot of time. That would probably be an entire day's worth of project. I don't know. Annotations, I don't know. It takes me a while to do annotations, so. But if there's enough demand for that, I will do that. But as it is, that's how it's going to be going forward at any rate, just getting this annotation. Now this one here, the one that's going to be seen right here, I'm going to have that in the first probably minute or two, and then again at the last at the score screen. So I think that's a better idea than having them both display all game long. I feel like it's kind of needless to have them all game long. But so yeah, just for future reference going on. So if you like the annotations, you'll be able to see that is the difference in how they work now. So again, thanks for your feedback, guys, and I'll see you in game 3.